I'm gonna figure this out. For some reason, the cursor's disappearing on me. Like, where is it? It just vanishes. Let's see. You're like, here, I can't even interact with it. Like, no? Weird. We're gonna do it though. So there's like 3 or 4 more endings I haven't gotten yet.
You're on a path in the woods.
See if I can figure it out.
And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin, you're here to...
We'll just skip ahead here. Okay. You know what? I haven't done the keep walking away thing. Let's try that.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave?
I am.
Do you even know?
I'm running, dude.
Somehow I doubt that, but fine.
Yep.
I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. Good. What we're being asked...
We gotta get the stranger ending.
Better to wash our hands of this whole situation than to take part in it.
Which I did get in the original demo, but I haven't gotten it here.
Voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. You're really keen on wasting everyone's time.
Oh yeah,
aren't you?
I'm gonna keep running.
It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, died.
It's fine.
Your silence is deafening. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say, it seems like the universe itself is doing its best to bring you to your fated confrontation with the princess.
Oh, it's trying.
There's always a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making... And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses of familiar wooden structures through the leaves. But as you focus on your...
Look at all those cabins.
You realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light.
Everywhere leads back to the cabin.
In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just
the cabin.
The cabin. Wait, what's going on? You're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or... You've doomed us all. You know that, right? But of course you do. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness. But it's not like any of that time...
Oh, here we go. I got the stranger one.
You're on a path in the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin. You're here to slay her. If you don't...
Is that a giant wall?
End of the world. Last I checked, there wasn't any last time.
No, there was a last time. Yes, sir.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. I don't know. I think it's more fun if he knows what we're thinking. He's like a captive audience. The entire world ending wasn't enough to get rid of us. I don't think there's much he can do other than object. I wonder what else we can do to ruin his day. If by ruining my day, you mean ruining everyone's day forever, then yes, I suppose there are plenty of ways you could pull that off.
Oh, there is.
The world really did end last time, didn't it? We should be careful. For all we know, we just got lucky. The world hasn't ended yet, and you are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff those pathetic little voices.
Oh, we're gonna slay her.
Stay focused on the task ahead.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm sure those walls have always been there. It makes sense if you think about it. If there weren't any walls in the woods, someone might have gotten lost. Or, heaven forbid, someone other than you might have stumbled onto the princess. You know I can tell when you're lying, right? Please take this seriously. I am begging you.
I don't trust him.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. If we're stuck going in there, maybe we should believe her. Maybe she isn't a liar.
Yeah, maybe the narrator's the bad guy. Could be.
Ignore him. He's just being difficult for the sake of it. Let's keep an open mind. The interior of the cabin is odd. The air smelling faintly of plastic, the wood of the walls fitting together at uncomfortable angles. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table, its legs all the wrong lengths. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this
This
right.
looks weird.
If he wants us to take it, maybe we should just leave it to collect dust, or better yet, grab it and throw it out the window. What good is a knife against a world-ending monstrosity anyway?
Right.
I, for one, would rather have it. We don't really know what we're dealing with here. I've already told you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a princess. How many times do I have to explain this incredibly simple and straightforward premise? Ooh, we should look at ourselves. Wouldn't that be fun? You won't be looking at yourself because there isn't a mirror. There's the table, the blade sitting on the table.
How come you're always saying the mirror's not there, dude?
There's nothing else in here.
Oh.
There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. You insisting it isn't there just makes me want to look at it even more.
There's something about that mirror.
But it does matter. Don't you care if we're being lied to? If he's willing to lie about something as innocuous as a mirror, what else is he hiding from us?
Yup.
I'm not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? Let you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done. But there was a mirror a second ago,
Yeah, it was there.
and now it's gone. You know that taking the mirror away from us isn't going to change things, right? We'll find it again, and then we'll see whatever it is that you don't want us to see.
Mm-hmm.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase built from an unidentifiable and featureless material. The steps barely seem to fit together, and upon closer inspection, they barely seem to go anywhere at all, let alone down.
So where do they go?
The air here has an almost artificial quality to it, the scent of plastic from the cabin mingling with a cocktail of chemical odors. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Possibly.
Her voice carries up the stairs, its multitonal lilt adding to the already uneasy atmosphere.
Hello, is someone there?
Oh, she sounds nice. Hey, the long-nosed doe is here if you want to give it some. That one didn't have anything today.
This isn't what I expected her to sound like. What is she?
What is she indeed?
Well, she's not a princess, that's for sure.
No. Oh yeah.
She is a princess. Don't let your imagination run wild.
That sounds nice. We don't remember the last time we had company.
Uh-oh. Oh, there go the turkeys taking it all.
It takes you a moment to orient yourself before you're able to start moving forward.
Yeah, I would not go near a voice like that.
As you enter the next room, the form of the princess comes into view, her wrist bound to the far wall in heavy shackles.
Mm-hmm.
She locks eyes with you, one moving a little faster than the other, the loose skin of her face stretching into something resembling a smile. Holy shit. If we knew she'd be like this, maybe we would have taken the knife?
Yeah, we probably should have.
Why are you just standing there? Are you scared of us?
Damn. Oh, she looks nice. The stranger. That seemed nice. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm only missing a couple more. Let's see. Pretty sure I almost got them all.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
Let's just go right
Make
to
your
it.
way up. She will. We're not going to ignore the interior of the blade.
Just enter.
The door to the basement creaks open. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Is she like nice now?
This Don't let it. How many times do I have to tell?
Wait, really? Come downstairs. I want to see the face of my rescuer.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the prince. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be of threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused.
Hi. I can't believe you're here. I've been waiting for something like this. I hope you brought something to deal with these chains.
Don't do it. If she gets out of those chains, we're all one. You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Let's
making a
see.
huge mistake. No. You walk up to the chains. They're large and heavy. Far too solid.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the prince.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement. Is someone else here? Your shouts and pleas are met. I'll repeat myself once again. You try the door.
You can let me out.
Make your way to the bottom of the easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
Look at the mess we're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you. The clang of it's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
That's the only option.
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm. You cut into her. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal.
It's not a regular princess.
No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Okay, there's no going back now. With you to the end. You bring the blade down to strike at the princess's heart. But she's fast. She ducks to the floor,
She's
your
quick.
blade narrowly grazing her backside. Slaying her won't be easy now that she's free.
We could have gotten out of here together. Were you just lying to me this whole time? I don't know what's come over you, but if I have to kill you, then I'll kill you. Do you think I need both of my arms to do that?
Damn.
Do you hear the conviction in her voice? Do you see that razor sharpness in her gaze? I don't think she's bluffing. She pounces on you with the
Yep,
same
she looks like a kitty.
cruelty she used to tear through her arm. But you have a weapon. You raise the blade, digging it under her ribs, aiming directly for the heart. It's not enough to stop her. You feel her claws in your throat, then her teeth, somehow sharp enough to pull apart your flesh and sinew with ease. You collapse to the floor, your body unresponsive as your blood pools on the ground beneath you. She stares down at your ravaged form, eyes shining in the darkness, dress stained in red as her blood and yours both seep into the fabric. If we're lucky, the wound you managed to inflict will be enough to at least delay her escape from this place. If we're very lucky, it will kill her before she can reach the outside world.
I mean, she's missing an arm, so...
It can't just end like this, right? As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but it's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the witch.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is you're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. I can assure you that you're not dead, and to answer your
No, I
second
died.
question, you're here to slay the princess. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say that we should probably head over to the cabin and slay that princess. We already know we can't trust her, so let's get on with the show.
Get on with it.
Those are two very... Let's say you died last. We were just waiting. I can if you failed to slay the princess, which you apparently did. So great. Congratulations. You've been given an... And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences.
Yeah.
We were killed by the princess. Yes, but in this, if it's the latter, what do you think happened? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? That's a very good point. This princess character seems like a lot of trouble, and if you think about it, actually slaying her probably breaks us out of this cycle, right? We don't want to be stuck here forever, do we?
That's right.
You're laying it on a little thick, aren't you? Laying it on a little thick? What are you talking about? I'm sharing my honest opinions.
He's trying to figure it out.
What matters is that almost everyone seems to be on the same page. So whenever you're ready, you can stop dawdling, get to the cabin, and save the world. Just be quick about it. Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world. She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just...
There is something going on with this princess.
Despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you.
Okay.
People locked... Look. Oh. I didn't know we were special.
Oh, we're special.
Of course you're special. Why else would you be here? Good point. That really explains almost everything. I'm not so sure about that. You know, you're right, but it explains almost everything. I've told you everything you need to. If you want us to stand a chance against her, we need to be armed. Not to sound like a broken record, but I don't think either of you really need to press the man on this. He wants us to slay the princess, so why would he have anything to hide? He seems like a nice guy to me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, but you should really stop wasting time chatting amongst yourselves in the woods. So if we could move this along? Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with
Let's go.
a warning. Before she will lie,
she will cheat.
and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Won't.
Don't worry, I think we've taken that lesson to heart at this point. You can trust us to get the job done. The interior of the cabin.
Yeah, this is different.
Of twisted roots, the walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf, with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
No, it's not a wall.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
There's something behind that grime.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. Very different.
Very different indeed.
Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess.
No, we were.
So focus up. A lot's riding on this. You take the blade from the shelf. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs. She doesn't have to know we have it. That's not actually a bad idea.
That's a good idea. It's a wonderful idea.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
We're gonna find out.
Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite. But you are. You're a wretched little thing. I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
See? She knows us. Is this enough for you to believe what we've been saying? Maybe, but you shouldn't let that cloud your judgment. She's just a princess. As long as you remember that and remain focused, slaying her will be easy. She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation.
Maybe.
You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions?
So what is she?
Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop. Fine. You're the boss.
Whoops. Skip that narrator's dialogue a little bit.
Thank you. You descend the basement steps,
Oh.
entering the dark room below. A fire crackles in the center of the room, casting unsettling shadows across the dirt walls. The princess crouches on the other side.
And there you are, one hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
That's no fair. How would she know that?
Well, she knew.
So, we've dropped the pretenses. Good.
Witch. Too bad it ends there. I think. Did I get all the endings? Oh, no. I already got this wish listed. Oops.
You're here. Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path to the cabin.
Let's see if there's a guide
Find
to
the
get them
princess
all.
within.
There might be.
A warning before you go any further. She will... We're not going to go... Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking.
Yeah, I think
The
it's
interior of the cabin is...
You have to
almost
resist the
entirely-
first-
The blade is your...
attack. I think. Yeah. Enter without the blade. So she'll chew her arm.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an
And then
room below. This is an oppressive place. Her voice
Hello?
is... Don't
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. I am begging.
Hi. Do you think you...
Okay, so we do this.
You're only making...
Thank you.
No. They're large and heavy.
I'm guessing you don't have...
Maybe it's some doubtful.
Maybe there's some way to break the chains? Or if that doesn't work, I guess we can always cut me out of them.
She offers the suggestion with almost... If we were stuck down here long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant. You attempted to make someone...
We're locked in.
Make your way easier for everyone. Look at them.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too.
There's a slight panic.
If I could just get out of the...
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing as she rips her flesh from her bone. It's the blade. Or we could... You won't like what...
Now, will it make a difference if I attack her now? Let's find out.
Without hesitation, you bring the blade down and plunge it into the princess's back. Finally, the wound drives her to the ground. Okay, there's no going back now. I'm with you to the end.
You bastard. Were you lying to me this whole time?
The princess pushes away from you, the motion ripping the blade from her back.
Damn.
Wounded, but still alive, she crouches on all fours in the corner of the room and meets your eyes with the ferocity of a cornered predator.
You've made a terrible enemy, and there's nothing in the world that can possibly save you from me.
What is she?
Do you hear the conviction in her voice? Do you see that razor sharpness in her gaze? I don't think she's bluffing. I thought we had the upper hand, but it's as if it's an act. She's wounded and unarmed. There's nothing she can do to hurt you.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm not so sure. Don't waver now. As you ready your blade to deliver a lethal blow, she lunges at your legs with the same animal. Your knife cuts into her again and again as you're tackled to the ground, your body racked with pain as she rips into you with tooth and claw. Forget about trying to rescue her. This is about survival now. Give her everything you've got. Though your nerves are seizing with pain, you know you've done your fair share of damage as well, your blade having left deep gashes in the princess's back. You seize a moment of hesitation to throw her off of you and shakily push yourself back to your knees. We can still turn this around.
Will giving up even make a difference? Let's see.
As what's left of your blood pools around you on the cobblestone floor, the blade falls from your trembling hands and clatters uselessly against the ground. I suppose you simply lacked the will to finish the job. The princess, wounded but still alive, nervously jumps at the blade and kicks it far away from you before retreating into a dark corner of the room. Her shining eyes watch you from the darkness, unblinking and curious as you lean out. We can only hope the wounds you managed to inflict will be enough to at least delay her escape from...
This might give me the same ending.
Very lucky, they'll kill her before she can reach the outside world.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
This is the end, isn't it? Before you can answer, everything goes black, and you die.
The beast. Oh no, I don't think I got this one.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it... Again? People, if he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. If he doesn't remember what happened, then something else must have trapped us here.
Yep, we're trapped.
You're not trapped here. Nobody's forcing you to do anything, though the only sensible thing for you to do right now is march up to that cabin and slay the princess.
No, we're trapped.
Those are two very different questions. Let's say for a moment you died we did our best with the information, and yet you still died. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing? What do you mean? Of course there weren't any. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself?
Maybe.
Instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end? All the more reason to keep our wits about us, should we even return to the cabin. We could find a safe little hole somewhere instead.
Yeah, we need to go hide.
You have to go to the cabin. If you don't slay the... Just be quick about it. Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world. She just can. Believe me, I wish I could. People locked her in that base. Look. Oh.
Ooh, we're special?
No, we were special. Of course you're special.
I don't trust that.
Special can mean all sorts of things. Don't let it make you careless. We need clear thoughts and pricked ears. I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just... If you want us to stand a chance against her, we need to be... Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all. You're afraid, aren't you? Just like us.
Yep.
Of course I'm afraid. Fear is an extremely normal thing to feel when the fate of the entire world is at stake. But that's not the only thing you're afraid of. You're scared of something worse.
Oh.
Stop projecting your neuroses onto me and just get to the cabin already. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting. A warning. She will lie. Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature?
I don't know.
I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who's cornered. She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear and smell.
Yeah, she could just rip the chains off the wall at any time.
That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note is a termite-eaten table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Yeah.
You walk up
Check
the
the
wall next
mirror.
to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least... You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know... But there was a mirror a second ago, and now it's gone. Very different. I wonder why. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this... So focus up. A lot's riding on this. You take the... The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece, though you'll have to be mindful of holes.
It's all decayed.
The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
She's a beast now.
She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost feral. Impatient. Or maybe eager. You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness.
So what is it?
The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere.
She's like a tiger.
A chain rattles in the underbrush, and as its links drag across the floor, you see pieces of her move in and out of the shadows. Remember, she's just a princess.
Is she?
She is certainly not just a princess.
No.
You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. She emerges, her shining eyes and glistening claws visible in the gloom, staring hungrily at you from the darkness.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so much more than you. And a little splinter clutched in trembling hands won't save you from me.
Beast. Oh, she don't even come out? Is that all of them? It might be. Yeah, I think I might have them all. Let me check here. See where I'm at. Take the blade. Drop the blade. I'm gonna get all the achievements on this. Think. We're gonna see. Ugh. Weird psychic painting shit. I know. Okay. So we're gonna speed this.
You're here.
Blah 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 blah. Let's just go right to the cabin. Yeah.
A warning before you go any further.
I almost got all the achievements, man.
She will we're not going to ignore.
Almost. Okay. Yeah, I only got like 2 other routes to finish and I got them all.
The blade is your implement.
Now, what did I say it was?
If you
Take the blade.
You take the blade. The door to the base. Her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds. Don't let it fool.
Oh, are you now? Why don't you come down and let me take a look at you?
Great job. You gave away the elements.
She has that conviction in her voice.
Good luck, hero. You walk down the steps. She's so coldly beautiful. Focus on the task at hand.
You weren't kidding when you said you were here to kill me. I know. You brought a knife with you and everything. But you don't have to try and kill me. You could always toss that scrap of metal to the ground and give the 2 of us a chance to talk things out.
Her voice almost sounds like the Cortana.
She makes a compelling point. What if we didn't kill her? What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to. The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, we'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
It's quite awkward indeed.
I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me?
That laugh. I think I'm in love.
Uh-oh. She's changing.
I have no idea. To be honest, I don't even know why I'm down here, or how I got here.
She's always been here.
I was kind of hoping you might be able to shed some light on the whole situation. Do you? So, you're not going to share? How pointless. If you want to talk, I'll talk. But this isn't talking. Too long.
She seems impatient, picking her fingernails,
Note the lack of deep.
sharpening them
You can't trust her.
to rip out my throat.
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her. You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't, well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Yeah. Chop her arm off.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right?
Oh, she is.
She is. I'm sure of it.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Okay.
Oh, you have to be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
To even imagine.
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see
There is
the
no
light of
key.
day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her.
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
She speaks with almost complete nonchalance. If we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out. Anything to finally be free. You attempt to make someone else.
Yeah, we're locked in.
You make your easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they? The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
Okay, good. She's acting different, so I think I'm
You won't like what
going down the other
happens.
path.
Do that.
We'll cut off her arm.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain.
And as he's doing it, she's just staring at him with big anime eyes.
You cut.
Just chopping her arm off. It's fine.
The blade is sharp, and you make
Break the
work.
bone.
Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet.
There you go.
She didn't so much as utter a sound. Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face
Could have caught below the
His
wrist,
gaze
kept more of the
meeting
arm, but
eye.
didn't really seem to care.
How is she so composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just
Yeah,
do
you can't do that.
Watch me.
Okay. So then we gotta resist, right? We gotta resist.
Stop that.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it! Stop resisting me! I am trying to get you out of here alive.
Just trying. Okay, then resist again. Keep resisting.
The blade. Move the blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
And the damsel one, she's like a little damsel, and she's like, "I'm sorry," and she's stabbing you. It's kind of horrible.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
Maybe.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease. Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground,
Okay, good.
blood flowing from your butchered neck.
I haven't gotten this one yet.
This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
We're not dead. Oh, good. Yep. I haven't gotten this one yet.
You're on
Prisoner.
a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin
Is a
is
princess.
a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. I can assure you that you're not dead. And to answer your second question, you're here to slay the princess. I literally told you that a second ago. Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word out of his mouth. There's got to be a way out of here, for us and for the princess. We just have to keep trying. I'm inclined to agree. If he doesn't remember what happened last time, maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you two, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me.
Is that right? Okay, let's get all this new dialogue.
Different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time. You died last time. The absolute irony. Well, that's one way to put it, I guess. You really don't remember what happened last time, do you? You practically forced the princess to kill us. That doesn't sound like the sort of thing I'd do, which is honestly all the more reason for you to not buy into whatever self-delusions the three of you are crafting. But this is a thought experiment, so I suppose I'll continue to give you the benefit of the doubt. If I did practically force the princess to kill you, it was probably for a good reason. Did you try and free her? Did you say something really mean to me? Because if I really did what you said I did, you probably deserved it. I'm a professional, after all.
Oh, see, this is new. I haven't heard this dialogue either.
Sure you are.
Sure.
Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you, what do you
I already
mean?
heard that.
Of course there weren't any consequences. You forced the princess to kill us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, if it's the latter, what do you think happened after? Do you think the people there lived What a conveniently ambiguous... Oh, how I wish that were the case, but if the princess weren't a certain, inevitable threat to the world, the four of us wouldn't be here. And yet, here we
How
are.
are we alive?
You're talking in circles. No, I'm talking in facts. Just be quick about it. She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that You haven't given us an ounce of proof. You do know that, right? What proof could you possibly ask for? Literally anything.
Anything.
Fine. Check your pockets.
Oh, what? This is new.
You put your hands in your pockets and pull out an envelope with the words, "The Evidence," written across the front.
I haven't seen this one.
Within, you find a note in your handwriting. It reads, "The princess will end the world if you don't stop her.
Oh.
This is an immutable truth."
Well, there you go. There's the evidence.
That doesn't prove anything. How do we know you didn't just forge our handwriting? I wish I could tell you more, but there are some rules I have to follow for all our sakes. Please just trust that these rules are in place for a reason. I'm on your side. You mean you're on our side as long as we do what you tell us to?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because you not doing what I tell you to do means you're putting the world at risk.
The entire
Everything
world.
out of him we're gonna get.
Okay.
People locked her in that basement. Look, I'm not supposed to... Oh, I didn't... Of course you're special.
Of
What
course.
else would you be? Yes, right. We're here because we're special.
Yeah, I'm signed with the skeptic.
Look, you're annoyed that you're here. I get it. I'm also annoyed that I'm here. But we're all in this together, and we're dealing with a bit of a ticking clock right now, so please just get to the cabin. I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to trust me here. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Let's go.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie,
She will cheat.
and she will do everything in her... Yes, don't believe a word she says. Just go in, take the knife, and do what you're supposed to. Wink. Did you just say wink out loud? No, I didn't. Wink. Just ignore this clown and focus on the princess.
Let's go.
The interior of the cabin is less a cozy woodland retreat and more
Yeah,
like
this is all different too.
a few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls, and thick, wrought iron bars barricade the window.
Focus on the
One
princess.
who enters that this is a prison.
Wink, wink.
The only furniture of note is an iron table bolted to the floor, a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Yeah, the voice acting and stuff's just top notch, and this and the music. I want to know more. Like, what is the princess in this? Some kind of eldritch horror where, and is whatever I am and the princess in some kind of struggle of the universe or something? I don't know. I want to know more though. It's supposed to be coming out the full version in the summer, they said.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
It's rather unique.
He definitely did not. Does a mirror not count as furniture of note to you? Because it should.
Absolutely, it should.
There isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here.
Yeah, there's always something about the mirror.
There's definitely a mirror.
I see a mirror.
There isn't. I think you know what we have to do.
Yeah, let's see how handsome I am.
In vanity, but we should definitely take a closer look. Whatever it is, he must not want us to know about it. Is this some sort of rehearsed bit? Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would it even do?
He doesn't see the mirror, that's what it is.
Very different. Yes, but why? Did he change it? Or did it change all on its own? Maybe it's a different cabin entirely.
Yeah, and I did slay the princess before, and when that happens, I get stuck in this void where I'm just in the cabin in a black void, and I can't leave it, and time ceases to matter.
Now isn't that a novel
I don't know.
thought? Maybe you haven't actually been here before. I hope this means you'll finally drop your ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died.
Oh, there was a
Certainly
past
you haven't
life.
been killed by the princess. So focus up. Don't get distracted by minor details.
I am a bit distracted.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
I see a mirror.
This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
And I must be like some kind of bird, griffin thing. I don't know.
But it was there a second ago. And now it's gone. If he doesn't want us to know about it, it must be important. We should keep our eyes peeled. Maybe it'll be back.
Maybe. Well, we didn't bring the blade last time, so we'll do that again.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to vaguely illuminate your path, dancing across glimmering patches of slimy moss on the stone steps. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
I don't know about that.
Her voice, harsh but controlled, carries up the stairs.
Is that a visitor I hear? Please, come downstairs. It's been a while since I've had company.
She sounds nice.
You shouldn't have come down here unarmed. Does she remember us? You walk down the stairs and look.
Damn, she's
eyes
really
with the
chained up
princess.
now.
She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves, the chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus as she adjusts her hands in her lap. So much for cutting her out of here. Do you hear yourself right now? Cutting her out of here never should have been on the table. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose, there would be something so obviously useless.
Maybe that chain's meant for me.
That was there last time too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It was.
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? I'm sure the two of us have quite a bit to talk about.
It's gonna end, isn't it? Damn. The prisoner. It sucks it ends there. So I think there's another one. I don't go to the cabin. Let me see here. Let's check. I think I don't go to the cabin, but then take... Then the world ends. Then I take the knife on the next one. Something like that. Let's see here. Where is my cursor? What? Oh, staring contest. Okay, try that one. We'll try to do staring contest.
You're on a path in the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin.
Yeah, because we gotta look into
And in the basement of that cabin
discussions, I
is a
believe.
princess.
Let's see here. I need to look at my library. I think. Yeah. I think that's the right one.
You're here.
So let's just go right to the cabin. Not that. Not this. Oh my god, now all the wrong things are loading up. Yeah, turn around and leave.
Seriously? Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin.
So we continue down the path. Right.
Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange.
Turn around again.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation.
And
Your silence
go away
is
again.
deafening. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say,
Now we're gonna run again.
there's always a choice. Let me tell you. And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's
Cabins everywhere.
flickers out of the corner of your eyes.
See, now the music's all get distorted and shit.
Familiar wooden structures through the leaves. But as you focus on in every direction, there is... Wait, but you're too stubborn. You've doomed us all. You know that. You lose track of just how long
World
you've spent
ends.
aimlessly tromping through the wilderness.
Everything is the cabin.
You're on a path in the woods.
I gotta look up
At the end of that path is
discussion.
the cabin. You're here.
Okay. We already went through the stranger dialogue.
You know I can tell when you're lying, right?
Yep.
Please take this serious. Oh, she will lie. If we're stuck, ignore him. Let's... The interior? The blade is your implement. If he wants us to take it, I for one would... I've already told you what you're dealing.
Now what is it? Take the blade and then drop it, I think it was. I think that's what it was. Pretty sure. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, exactness. Okay. Yeah, I got the beast, I got the tower. Oh, these ones, yeah. I just got the prisoner. Don't go to the cabin, try to leave. Get the blade, and then there's an option to throw it away.
You take the blade from the table. Okay, fine, you took the knife. But you really shouldn't hold it like that. Then how are we supposed to hold it? The other way, thumb at the bottom. We'll look much cooler and more serious if we hold it with our thumb at the bottom.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter how you hold the blade, as long as you have it. Just make a choice.
Hold it the other way.
You switch your grip on the blade. Congratulations. Yes! Isn't this so much better? Okay, fine. You're right. This does look a lot better. It really doesn't matter. Just get on with it and deal with the princess already.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Ah, yes! Do it! Seriously? You throw the blade at the window, the glass shattering as it flies out into the night. I suppose you'll just have to deal with the princess without a weapon. Can't believe you actually did it. We'll be fine, don't worry about it. What's the worst that could happen? The world ends? Oh well. If the princess wasn't going to do it, the heat death of the universe was going to come for it eventually.
Exactly.
What's done is done. Good luck, hero. You walk up to the wall next
Does
to
that
the
make a difference with
basement.
the mirror?
It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror.
Yeah, it's a mirror.
Or at least... You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. There
Quite
was a mirror
ridiculous indeed.
and now it's gone. You know that taking the mirror away from us isn't going to change things, right? We'll find it again, and then we'll see whatever it is that you don't want us to see.
Oh, so this will be the stranger again. I
The
guess.
door to the basement creaks open. The air here has an almost artificial quality to it. Her voice carries up the stairs, its multi-tonal lilt adding to the
Hi, though.
Love the
Is
voice.
someone there?
Just the couple, yeah. That's good.
This isn't what I expected her to sound like. What is she? Well, she's not a princess, that's for sure. She is a princess. Don't let your imagination run wild.
We're a princess,
Mm-hmm.
but we can also be a friend.
There's a bunch of princesses.
It takes you a moment to orient yourself before you're able to start moving forward. As you enter the next room, the form of the princess comes into view, her wrist bound to the far wall. She locks eyes with you, one moving a little faster than the other, the loose skin of her face stretching into something resembling a smile. Holy shit. If we knew she'd be like this, maybe we wouldn't have tossed that knife out the window.
We shouldn't have.
Why are you just standing there? Are you scared of us?
Looks nice. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, I might have gotten everything. Let's see here. Good. Good. Let's see. Which ones didn't I get? Next, I need to look at. Am I just missing staring contest, I think? Yeah, I think that's the only one I'm missing. Yep. We'll do the staring contest. And there we go. I 100%ed this demo. That should be everything. And then since it's still early, I'll play something else. how do I do the staring contest? Let's see.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path, you're here to slay. You make a warning. She will. We're not going to go. Ignore.
Oh, so I got all the endings.
The interior of the blade is your implement. You'll need it.
So, take the blade, enter the basement.
Door to the base. Her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds. Don't let it.
Oh, yeah.
Good. You're still listening to reason. Walk down the stairs and lock eyes. She's so coldly. Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Yeah.
That giant knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
It does look suspicious.
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at... Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you?
That blade has something to do with
scared
it.
me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
Do you hear the conviction in her voice? Do you see she's unarmed? If you hesitate...
Then I'm not talking to you.
You stare at the princess, squinting. She squints back. The two of you are going to do this forever, aren't you? You squint even harder. So does she. At least nobody's dying right now. You're going to have to make a choice. You can't keep squinting forever. Eventually, someone is going to have to blink.
That's it. That should be everything. I think. Let me check my achievements. Yep, 100%. Wow, I 100% in a demo. That's good. Making progress. Okay, time to move to something else, since it's pretty early still. Yeah. I'll think of some. Who knows what I'm coming back with.